Why Good People Break, a psychological view of Les Miserables. Many people think Les Miserables is about heroes and villains, but psychologically, its real story is about human beings responding to suffering. Some people become harsh, some people collapse, and some people transform. Today, I want to look at three characters, Javert, Valjean, and Fantine, not as good or bad people, but as human beings shaped by their circumstances. Inspector Javert believes in law, order, and absolute justice. For him, people are either criminals or citizens, right or wrong, clean or dirty. Psychologically, this is what we call rule-governed behavior, living entirely by rigid rules, even when those rules don't no longer fit reality. Cannot tolerate ambiguity. He cannot imagine that a criminal could become a good man. So when Valjean shows mercy to him, when the world stops making sense, Javert doesn't know how to live with that contradiction. His tragedy is not cruelty. His tragedy is rigidity. He would rather die than live in a world where his rules no longer explain reality. Jean Valjean begins as a hardened prisoner, angry, distrustful, shaped by years of punishment. But one act of unexpected kindness from the bishop changes something fundamental. It doesn't erase his past, it changes the meaning of his past. It's in psychological terms, the emotional impact of his experiences shift. Shame becomes responsibility, anger becomes compassion, survival becomes purpose. Valjean does not become good because someone forced him to. He changes because his world gave him a new possibility of being human. His story shows that people don't transform through punishment alone. They transform when their context changes. Fantine is often seen as a tragic victim, but psychologically, her behavior makes sense. She loses her job, she has a child to support. There is no safety net, no compassion, no viable options. One by one, she sells what she has, her hair, her teeth, her dignity. Not because she is immoral, but because she is desperate. Her story reminds us that when people are cornered by poverty, stigma, and isolation, survival behaviors can look like moral failure. But they are often responses to unbearable circumstances. Fantine is not weak, she is overwhelmed. What makes Les Miserables so powerful is that it does not treat people as inherently good or bad. It shows how environment, experiences, and opportunity shape who we become. Javert represents rigidity without compassion. Fantine represents suffering without support. Valjean represents what becomes possible when mercy enters the picture. The film quietly asks a profound question. Are people evil, or are they responding to the conditions of their lives? In counseling, I often see the same patterns. People come in thinking something is wrong with them, that they are broken, weak, or beyond repair. But when we look closely, their behaviors usually make sense in the context of what they have lived through. Pain, withdrawal, pain, betrayal, trauma, exhaustion, loneliness. These shape how people think, feel, and act. And sometimes what looks like dysfunction is actually survival. This idea is not limited to 19th century France. In the Philippines, director Lino Brocka told a similar story in Bayan Ko, Kapit sa Patalim. His protagonist, Turing, is not a villain. He is a man pushed to the edge of poverty, injustice, desperation. When systems fail people, when hope disappears, even good men can be driven to choices they never imagined. Brocka's film reminds us that social conditions shape personal decisions. These films, books, and other works of art were created without the language of psychology, yet they reveal truths that psychology now struggles to describe. Long before theories, manuals, or diagnoses, artists were already exploring suffering, mercy, injustice, and hope. Perhaps this is the quiet power of great art. It reminds us that the search for understanding did not begin in laboratories or textbooks. It began in the human heart. Perhaps these stories were inviting us to judge less and to live with greater compassion. If there is one lesson from both Les Miserables and Bayan Ko, it is this: people are not simply good or bad. They are human beings trying to survive the worlds they inhabit. Some become rigid, some break, some transform. And often what makes the difference is not character, but context, whether someone encounters punishment, abandonment, or compassion. If you feel stuck, overwhelmed, or misunderstood, you don't have to face it alone. Sometimes what people need most is not judgment or advice, but understanding, a place where their stories make sense. Thank you for listening. Once again, this is Nathan Chua from One Life Only Counseling Services. To learn more about what I do and how I can help you, please visit my website, One Life Only Counseling Service, www.onelifeonly.net. Okay, so that's about it. And I hope you enjoyed this one, Act at the Movies. You take care.